Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jess if you're new here, and in today's video I'm actually really excited. I'm doing a collab with Dina over from Pursuing Peace. Her channel is all about kind of similar to mine, homeschooling and just mom type of content. She is also a believer. She loves the Lord and she's not ashamed to talk about that, which I love. I love her content. If you're a subscriber to my channel, then I definitely recommend going and checking out her video because it's going to be the exact same type of stuff as we're talking about in this video. It's going to be our top 5 essentials for newborns, and then our like bottom 5 or things that actually I personally wouldn't buy. And so be sure to check out Dina's. She's going to have a top 5 and a bottom 5 as well, and so I will leave her video and her channel in the description box below as well. So let's get into these. So I'm going to start off with my top 5 things that I will not be buying for baby number 3. I didn't mention this, but this is my third. I have a daughter who's 5.5 and my son is 3.5, and so it's been a little while since I've had a newborn, but I definitely know and I can remember being in the throes of newbornhood and the things that really have worked for me with my 2 children, and things that I really try to steer clear of. The first one is Draft. Yes, I'm starting off with kind of a doozy. Now, if you know me personally and have been following me on my channel for a little bit, you may know that I have tried to cut out the more harmful chemicals in cleaning products and also my skincare and makeup. I have another beauty channel here on YouTube, and so I tried to there really be ingredient conscious about what I put on my skin. And so that just plays right into what I also put on my little baby's skin. The reason I bring up Draft is because I feel like it is unknown. Like sometimes we just trust companies to do well by us, but unfortunately Draft is kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing, if you're familiar with that term, because it's advertised for babies, and you'd think that it says, you know, #1 pediatrician approved, recommended to wash your clothes and to spray all the things and to smell all the good things with Draft. But unfortunately, if you know, when you dig a little bit deeper and you look at all the different fragrances and the dyes and the surfactants and all the different things that are put into this detergent, it can cause a lot of things. I don't want to start this video off with scaring you, but even though something says pediatrician approved, just like if you were to look at something like skincare, if a skincare product says #1 dermatologist approved, what I've learned through those studies is that it only takes a few dermatologists to say, yeah, this is a decent product, and they can put their stamp of approval on there. It doesn't really mean that the majority of doctors or dermatologists believe in that product. I can assume that a couple pediatricians said, yeah, Draft is fine. So just to bring awareness to that, I will now be getting off of my Draft soapbox. Pun intended, not really. And so, yes, that is my #1 thing that I am really careful with. If you're curious about what I actually wash our clothes in, I'll leave a link to my favorites below, but it is approved on the app called Think Dirty, where they take all the ingredients of products, and it's a free app. If I try to stay between 0 and 2 for all of my products on my kids, for my cleaning, for my skincare, things like that. All right. So everything else isn't going to be that long and wordy. I'm sorry if you already clicked out of the video. You're not watching this anyways. Okay, so #2 thing that I won't really recommend buying, a towel or a special washcloth for your baby. Now, if you love the cute little hooded towels, I completely understand. A lot of times though, they're really flimsy, and I just find that a regular towel of my own works just as well. It's even nice and thick, and I can bundle up the baby really well with our own towels. So I am going to be passing on all of those cute little hooded towels and just using my regular towels for this baby. Number 3, and this one I looked into because I have thought about and I have made my own baby food, and that is a baby bullet. You know, those little tiny things that are advertised for crushing up food and making baby food purees for your baby. And the baby bullet is about this small. I'm inserting pictures here as I talk. And I find that my immersion blender or even just my food processor or my Ninja blender works just as well and even better than a baby bullet. The reason being is if you're putting in all of this time and effort to steam your food and to cook it to bring out really great ingredients for your baby's food, in the baby bullet it has such a small capacity of how much it can grind up that it just takes a lot more time and effort and things to clean, whereas if you just made your food like I have in a big pot and then I use my immersion blender and then I just have like 2 parts to clean, my immersion blender and my pot, and I can make a huge batch of that, whereas baby bullet, you know, you're just kind of limited to these little tiny batches. Now, it's okay if you have one and if you got one from a friend or on your registry. I'm just saying, me personally, I'm not going to spend my money on something that's advertised for baby food when I have things in my kitchen that already work just as well, or if not better. All right, number 4, a Boppy. So I know some of these things are really common for people to love, but for me personally, I'm only 5'2" on a good day, 5'1", 5'2". I just have a really short torso, and I found that a Boppy actually brings my babies up too high to where it doesn't work for me personally. So it's not that I think Boppies are horrible. I know they work really well for a lot of people, but me personally, and maybe if you are also short torsoed and or just a petite shorter person in general, you might just consider getting a pillow and trying out a pillow under your arm for the first little bit, and then seeing, you know, maybe borrowing somebody's Boppy before you go out and buy it. I had a Boppy for my daughter and I never really used it at all. So I know for me, I will not be buying a Boppy this time around. And the last thing I will not be buying, and there are a lot of things I'm not really buying, and these are just obviously for fun. I'm not being serious about this. I know the draft one I kind of came at you strong. Again, I'm not judging. I'm just trying to help a mother to mother, you know, that kind of thing. So I will not be buying a traditional diaper bag, a over-the-shoulder or a messenger style, or even a really cutesy, sweet-looking designer backpack diaper bag. I just don't feel the need to buy these diaper bags that are only for babies. With a traditional diaper bag, you have a lot of cute little patterns, or nowadays they're really like trendy and leather and nice looking. You may spend upwards of $80 to $100 on it, and maybe there's something specific about it that you like, that it's diaper bag-ish, like a wipey dispenser that's built into it, which is okay. But what I find is the way I think that it's utilized a lot better in a form of not being a regular diaper bag. So that brings me into my top 5 essentials for having a newborn baby, or just a baby and kids in general. And that is a regular backpack. This isn't even a diaper bag backpack. This is a backpack that I actually was gifted for my birthday this past year from my stepmom, and I love it. It's Calvin Klein. I think she got it at Target, or no, at Marshall's or TJ Maxx. It's large. It's very slippery. Not saying that you need a backpack from like that. That's like exactly like this. But I'm just letting you know, you can go and spend $20 on a nice Calvin Klein backpack that you will be using throughout the years, that you're not just kind of limited to, oh, it's a diaper bag, now I don't have babies in diapers, what do I do with this thing? You'll be able to have a backpack for the rest of however long it lasts. And you don't have to spend that much. Another thing that I love about a backpack is that when you have multiple kids, or even just one kid, You have the car seat that you're carrying around, or hands that you need to hold to cross the street, and so a backpack is just going to be on your back, hands-free, and I love it. This is currently stuffed to the brim for my hospital bag for the baby, which I will be showing in a different video. But I do want to kind of give a little bit of some tips and tricks. People say that they don't like backpacks that aren't diaper bags because there's not enough compartments. Well, I actually find that I like getting things like this. So I also got this at Marshall's, and these are just a pack of clear plastic bags with a good zipper. A bunch of different sizes. I think there were about 10 of these bags. Different sizes for $10. And the reason I like having these are because you can put different things inside. So you can use this large one and just have this be your diaper caddy. Like, you can put the diaper mat in here. You can put a couple diapers, your wipes, and your creams and whatnot. And that way, you don't have to lug around your whole diaper bag. Sometimes you can just pull out this and walk to the bathroom with your baby instead of having something really huge that you're lugging around. So another thing can be designated for snacks. Another thing can have different pairs of clothes, backup clothing, and things like that. Pacifiers, whatnot. But I love that they are clear, so even your spouse looking through the backpack can easily see what's in the bags. You can label them if you want to, but because they're clear, they can see right through them and know exactly what's in the little bags. I like things that are kind of separating to give something a home and a place to where it's not just this empty pit, because that would be really frustrating in a backpack to just have a big pit of all the things. So that's why I recommend this, or you can just do Ziploc bags. You can use Ipsy bags or things that, like makeup bags, things that you already have around the house. You don't have to go out and buy bags. I've reused a lot of different things, you know, packaging and stuff like that. I will try to find something similar like this on Amazon and link that below, but I highly recommend going with that kind of system over a over-the-shoulder or a big pit of diaper bagness. Okay, so my number 2 essential has to do with sleep, because we all know that sleep is a necessity, and it's sometimes hard to come by. My daughter, my firstborn, she just didn't sleep very well. I think she was overtired, and I was a new mom. A lot of things played into it. Breastfeeding was really hard for her, with her too. And then my son was the complete opposite. I prayed so much that he would be the complete opposite, and he was. He slept so well, and I partially contribute that to this next product. So with him, I tried these Love to Dream swaddles. And this was his. I'll insert a picture here of him swaddled up in it. I think he was only 2 months old in that picture, or maybe even a month old. This is the Love to Dream swaddle, and what it is it's not the typical binding swaddle that you may think of, or a blanket swaddle like a muslin swaddle, or you know, your knit jersey one, but it is a zippered swaddle that allows their little arms to come up by their face. Because if you've seen newborns when they're first born, a lot of times their little legs are curled up to them and their little fists are curled up, because that's how they're used to being inside of the womb. They're used to just kind of being snuggled like that. And so a lot of times babies will self-soothe by putting their hands up by their face, and if they're in these tight swaddles, they're not able to self-soothe like that. So what I liked about this is that it gives them enough mobility to put their little hands up by their face, but it stops them from the huge startle reflex that will wake them up and disturb their little sleep. There are not many other brands out there that have a similar design to this, and so that's why I really love these. I give these as presents. They are a little bit expensive. You can use a couple, ask around if your friends and family have them to borrow them, but in my opinion, sleep is well worth $30. You know, and these go over the pajamas, so you can reuse them night after night. It's not like you need a lot of them. This one in particular is a size small and it's lightweight. It's a really thin one. So I actually like these if my baby runs warm, which my son did. And so I would put him in just a regular, you know, sleeper pajama suit and then put him in this, and that's all that he would need and that I would feel like he's warm enough. They also have, you know, a thicker one. This is just their average thicker. It's a different size and a different pattern. Come in some cute patterns. But this one isn't as like a mesh breathable fabric. So you can use this if it's a little bit of a colder night, and they actually have one that's even thicker and heavier. There's small, medium, and then this is really cool. This is a transition one. So these little wings here will zip off. So the reason that you would zip them off is just to kind of wean them off of a swaddle, so one arm could be out and keep the one arm in, and then it's like helps them to transition out of swaddling. Another thing is all the swaddles have 2 zippers. So there's a reverse zipper, so you can keep their little arms swaddled in the middle of the night when you're changing their diaper, and just change their diaper from the bottom. And I really appreciate that because a lot of times, especially newborns, I remember they would have, you know, almost their like night or dream feed where they're partially awake and partially sleeping, and they're nursing or they're feeding in the middle of the night and they need a diaper change. And if you were to have to take everything off and unvelcro or unswaddle, it kind of just moves them a lot more than just a really simple unzip from right there, get their little legs out, and it just makes it really nice. I really love these swaddles, and obviously I think it's an essential. It may not work for some, but I think even if you've tried other swaddles and you're like, my kid does not like to be swaddled, okay, maybe, but maybe they just don't like to have their arms pinned down. My daughter didn't really like that, and I didn't know about these back when she was having a hard time sleeping. I appreciate it, and I think, again, it's well worth the investment. All right, on the same lines of sleep, I highly recommend a sound machine or a box fan. So I find that even my husband and I sleep really well. Everybody in my household, so 3 bedrooms so far, have this same sound machine. It's not your typical dome sound machine that you see that's very popular. This one actually has a lot of different noises on it, but I find that they're not so like metally and fake sounding. They actually sound like a fan or some kind of just a good quality white noise. And you can also turn it up very loudly if you want to, or you can have it quiet. I know even sound machines can be a little controversial. Maybe you have to be careful with how loud you have it for your baby's little eardrums. But I just find that it really helps them to sleep a lot better. And anything I can do to help my child sleep and to kind of get used to this world and not being in the womb, I want to do. And so even a box fan, if you don't feel like you want to go and look for a good sound machine, if you go to Target or Walmart and get a box fan, it's also good for circulation in the nursery to have that circulating air. Obviously you don't want it blowing right on them, but a box fan is nice and loud, and it's a little bit less expensive as well, and it creates that similar, just constant noise that really helps to soothe a baby. Okay. This next one I really like, and I know that it's popular now. I had it back with my daughter, so almost like 6 years ago almost, and it wasn't popular then, but it is the Angel Care Bath. And I actually don't have mine. I think I accidentally sold it in a garage sale. I'm gonna have to get another one, so I don't have it here to show you, but it's really great because not only is it a great bath that is lightweight and mesh and doesn't collect a lot of like grime because it has the way it's designed. My baby's able to use it from day 2 of when we bring them home and give them their first bath because of the way it's designed. They don't slip out of it. You can put it in your sink, you can put it in your bathtub, and a couple of things that I like to use it for too, not only for the bathtub, but also it's so lightweight and portable that I will bring it around the house. So I will bring it around the house and kind of use it as a place to put the baby, especially when they're not wiggling. Obviously you have to use your wisdom and safety. But when they're super tiny and they don't really move at all and you just need to put them somewhere besides laying down on the floor, I would put a nice thick blanket or even a swaddle blanket or something to kind of line the bathtub so it's not just plastic, and then they just kind of fit right in there like a little nest. And it's a really great, lightweight, multi-use thing. I think it's great not just for a bathtub, but for a little seat for them to sit in. Another little side note about storing the bath is that it has a little loop at the back of it, and so if you just take a command hook, you know, even they make them now where they're waterproof, and if you put it on the opposite end of your bath than the shower head or wherever you want to hang it, it hangs really easily. It's lightweight, so it hangs really nicely up in your bath, and it will dry really quickly like that, and it's kind of out of the way. And lastly is a nose aspirator, and I know this is on a lot of people's list for essentials, but there's a reason. And a lot of babies, especially newborns, they have a hard time learning about breathing. A lot of times, I know my two coming out of the womb seemed to kind of get some fluid stuck in them, and so they had a lot of kind of mucus coming up, and it can be a little bit scary as a mom, even a third-time mom. It's, you know, something that I really want to make sure I'm well equipped for, is to help my child breathe. Now, I have used a nose Frida, but the thing I'm going to share with you is a little bit different than a nose Frida. Nose Frida is great, but this is called the Neomed Naspira Babies and Kids Nasal and Oral Aspirator. And this is what it looks like. So it's similar to the nose Frida. You have your little area where you suck in. You have the filter that's going to help you not suck in what you don't want. And then, but the thing that's a little bit different about this is that it's a little bit more narrow. If you have the nose Frida, you know that it is kind of a thicker, like you don't really put it in the baby's nostril. It is a little bit thicker, and it's just designed a little bit differently. This actually, you can use it just as a typical suction thing, you know, like that, and it opens up so you can clean it out really easily. And but you can also use it as like the nose Frida way. And so I highly recommend getting something for your baby's boogers. You could try the bulb things that they have at the hospital. Obviously, they like those for a reason. These are a little bit more expensive, but definitely worth the investment in my opinion. I've used this and the nose Frida so many times. No, it's not my kid's favorite. It does kind of freak them out a little bit, but it's better than them continually having that in their throat and in their nose. And so it does a really good thorough job. Now for the crunchy little boogers that get stuck in the nose, or something that just won't, that you see that in there but it won't come out with something like this, I really highly recommend the Oogie. I think it's Oogie Bear. This is a great dual-ended little scooper to get those hard to reach or hard little boogers out of their nose. They have such tiny little nostrils, so this is a really great little spatula tool. It's a couple dollars. It's like, you know, something that you might think is weird, but I think it's actually a great essential to have because it could really help your baby breathe well. So that's everything. My top 5, my bottom 5, and there are definitely more essentials. Obviously, diapers, wipes, clothes, all those things that I just decided, both Dina and I were like, yeah, those are the obvious. These are more just something that you may not necessarily always hear about and you're curious about maybe, so we wanted to kind of give a little bit more information. But yeah, hopefully this was helpful to you. Definitely check out Dina's video. I'm really looking forward to seeing what she has to say about hers. She has definitely a lot of experience being a mom herself, and so I'm really looking forward to seeing all the tips and tricks in her top 5 and bottom 5 that she has to share. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you will consider subscribing if you want to hear more about my journey in homeschooling my kids. Also, I will be doing more baby related content as we are expecting our little baby in only a few weeks. So I hope that you guys have a great day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, guys.